Hello, I'm Scott Douglas and welcome to the first ever Brevard College Tornado Spotlight. I'm here with my guest, Coach L. He's the men's soccer coach and we get to know a bit about you today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, give us an insight on your history and kind of how you ended up here.
Well, I guess the simplest way to say is fate, because when I came to the US first time, I was hired at a school in Kentucky. And even the story to get there is crazy because I was teaching at an American high school back home. I'm from Brazil. And my athletic director was Dave Nelson. Which the typical Tornado fan might know who that is. He ended up here, of all places, and coached golf here, and I think he coached even soccer here. So Dave Nelson was going to retire in Brazil and come back to the US, and he wanted to pass it on to me. But for us to do so, because of the American contracts and whatnot, requirements, I had to have my master's in the US. So he made the connection with Union College, and because he knew people there, I don't even know how. And crazy again, I go to Union College, Dr. David Joyce becomes the president. And Dr. Joyce, he became the president of Brevard. So when he came to Brevard, I actually had already left Union College. I went to Lincoln Memorial University in Tennessee, but he brought my wife here. And ever since he kept asking me to come here, and so I feel like I've been here this whole time because obviously Debbie we have had a house here, but we made it work for 10 years, I guess. Sometimes I would spend a week in Tennessee, or she would come and visit. Sometimes I spent a few days here. It was tough. But I had to finish what I started there, and here I am, so it's amazing, and there's so many little things that happen in between. I mean, from the standpoint of some of the players that were already here that I coached in Brazil, and before I came here, so it's amazing how this whole story unfolded.
And how did you get into coaching?
So back home, I used to always, you gotta talk now. I'm not that old, but it's been a while, it was unheard of in my generation to be as involved in athletics as I was, there was soccer and there was nothing else, so I was always passionate about every sport. I played soccer, basketball, tennis, volleyball. I did track and field, I did judo. I don't even know what else I did, and it was mostly, my family kept moving, it was business for my dad, mostly circumstantial that, all right, we're living here and there's futsal, let's go do futsal. And so I fell in love with all these sports, and I've always known that I wanted to do something related to it. I was never enough with one of the sports to say, all right, I'm going to build a career with it. Right. Even though I was quite good in most of them, but it is what it is. But so I knew coaching was the natural. But the common thread throughout, even when I was playing basketball, volleyball, whatever, I would only watch soccer. Soccer was my passion from the get-go, So I knew I wanted to coach, and I knew it was going to be soccer. But what I didn't know is that there's a way to do that outside of the club system. Because in Brazil, even to this day, it's all in the club, to the extent that most kids cannot go to school if they get that good, right? Which is true in your country, I'm assuming. You got to give it up. You got to go on with your playing and give up your education. So I did not know about the American concept. And that's when, by circumstance, and it was back to that person, Dave Nelson, I was hired to be a coach at the American high school. Then I not only fell in love with coaching, but I fell in love with coaching in the U.S. system, in the American system. But I thought I was going to make a career in the high school in Brazil, you know.
Yeah.
But when I came up here to do my master's, Dr. Joyce invited me to stay, and the rest is history, you know. But yeah, coaching, most coaches will tell you that a coach typically is a frustrated player that didn't become, you know. So I don't know if I'm frustrated at all. I love every minute of it, but yeah, that's the story.
I heard you say it is what it is.
Yeah.
A lot of the players will say that, oh yeah, like it's Coach Chelsea, it is what it is. So where did that come from?
You know, I don't know. People make fun of me, but the truth is, I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe I believe in fate. I believe in orchestration. I believe in God. I believe. So typically, when I look back and I see the dots connecting, it's more than it is what it is. It was meant to be. You know.
Yeah. So you have been coaching for a while now, and what probably was the best thing that made you think, wow, I've really accomplished that?
So if I include the segment in Brazil, because I did coaching club as well there, that was my freshman year in college. So it's been that long, you know, because even as I was going to school, I took opportunity to go ahead and start in different phases of my life and career. I would answer differently. Now that I see a bigger picture, I can tell you that I see so little of the W's, so little of the you know, championships, and so much more of the bigger picture. You know, I was able to coach sons of former players, but more importantly, I was able to see so many generations get out there, and you know, you're about to do it, and man, they're so successful, you know, and I'm not taking credit for none of it, but I'm proud of having been a little piece of their journey, you know, just like some of the people I mentioned to you have been mine, and at the end of the day, trying to bring people from, you know, maturity level to another level between their freshman year and senior year. It's definitely character and emotional intelligence, you know, we talk about that, and just being prepared to get out there and apply little things that you might pick in a competition environment into your profession, whatever that profession is. But more importantly, not more importantly, but just as importantly, pick up a program at a certain level and leave it at a much higher level. I really take pride in it, you know, and it's been some great stories in these schools.
Yeah, that's wow. So, as you said, you see less of the W's and all the championships, and so what has happened where you thought, man, I really got that wrong?
Oh, daily. What day is today, right? I mean, you're always learning. So the biggest thing is this, you know, if you're humble enough to admit, and you're teachable enough, and I'm talking about each coach, to say, I'm still learning, then you belong, and then you should continue doing. When you get to the point that you say, nah, you know, I know what I need to know, and that's it. Honestly, and that's true for honestly any profession.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I make mistakes daily. So I hope my players will say, hey, he's a little better this year. That's how I have to shoot for.
So the last 3 years, you've taken Brevard to postseason tournaments, and winning out of the 3, you won one of them. And what was that like, your first achievement here at Brevard? Yeah,
I mean, like I said, you know, you get this sense that it's not me, it's a bunch of people, right? It's coaching staff, it's players, it's trainers and athletic directors and department and everything else. So we're all working together. But to see where it's being and where it is, you know, it's incredible, you know. But I think the players should and your generation lived through it. You should feel the same way, because even with a snapshot of 4 years, you continue getting that progress, right? It's not just 10 years, it's not just a long run, but I feel that the best is yet to come. I mean, even within these 4 years, let's be honest. 1 year we won a conference, but there's no postseason.
Yeah.
1 year we made postseason. I'm talking national, even though it's ECAC, but we lost in the first round. And 1 year we're picked to win a conference and we lose in the first round of tournament. So it's always that taste that we could have done more, you know. So hopefully this is the year, but that's the data collection now that you do this long enough, you have that peace of mind that stuff is in place. It will happen. So it's not like you have this, man, I have a dream, and it will happen. Question is how soon, you know? So it could be this year. It could be. We have everything in line, but it's a crazy sport, you know that. and somebody out there is working just as hard, you know? So you got to respect that.
Yeah.
But we're going to do something special. Yeah.
And over the summer, when I heard you on a phone call, I heard you say that it's about you adapting to them. Speak a little bit more about that.
I don't know if I can say, like, I think I could, because with that background from different sports, but I think soccer more than any other sport, I think a coach should not have one way. It shouldn't be, all right, this is how I want it, tough, adapt or leave, you know, at all. In fact, it's such a crazy sport that I now you get philosophical, and I see people that I respect compared to alchemism. You're always tweaking the formula and trying to find gold, but at the end of the day, I'm the one that gotta look at what I got, look at the talents, look at the generation, look at the competition, whatever the case might be, and I or us, right, coaches, and we adapt to you guys. So even in preseason, like this year, my goodness, we use 5 formations, and if you ask Mario and I, we were talking before over the summer, hey, this team is perfect for this formation. Completely wrong. I mean, it did not look good. So we got to be humble and smart enough to say, hey, let's adjust to them.
Yeah.
So showcase what they have best, but yet realize that even if same people come back next year, it could be that one doesn't work anymore, you know? It's a magical sport.
And so in adapting to them, what are your non-negotiables? Like the one, something that will be like, I have to...
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, because obviously there are certain things you don't accept, right? So the spiel, I hope you remember at least once hearing this, is excellence, right? Our team goals are posted in the board here. Our values, which is more important, are posted in the board. So the values are non-negotiable. So the spiel about excellence. So I'm okay if you're straight C's, but you better be a gorgeous C. You know, you better be working hard for that C, and that's okay if people are there. I'm okay with people that put soccer ahead of certain things that maybe won't put as much food on the table for you after here, so long as the other things you're still giving a very, very, very best of that time you allot to it, because that should be what you're pursuing for the rest of your life, you know. So that's non-negotiable. I honestly, I'm okay with people putting a little of the self ahead. It's the generation. It's you know, I have my goals. I want more. If you don't want more, you shouldn't be doing anything anyways, right?
Right.
But I'm not okay when you. I'll give you an example, right? I pick on the players sometimes. 2 kinds. The kind that the team won and you're upset because you didn't play, or the kind that the team lost and you're okay because you played. I don't like either. That's non-negotiable. All right? We're all upset because the team is not getting as good or producing as well as they should. And no one person wins more than the other person. That's so long as everybody's in that kind of state of mind. Yeah, it's non-negotiable that I want everybody happy when we're heading towards it. You might lose a game and be happy because you know that was our best game that we put together. That's okay. But I don't want people happy any other time.
So, how did you develop kind of your coaching style and both kind of your coaching style and your values? How did that kind of develop?
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many good mentors and good, both ways, right? Sometimes you learn from people thinking, yeah, I won't do that, right? So there's a lot of people, and I probably will not mention names because I'm going to leave the room and think, man, I forgot that one,
Yeah.
So there's that side that there's being in love with the game enough that you might remember this, right? So we hit COVID, the world stopped. I sent you guys a link to watch. It's a tiny little country in the old Soviet Union.
Yeah.
I found one country that was playing soccer. I watched every game of it, and I even learned some of the teams, and I started thinking, man, I never thought about that. They're doing this a little different,
Yeah.
So stuff like that, because nothing, there's a commentator in Brazil that says no one ever creates anything, they copy it. Which I don't know if I agree 100%, but there's a lot of truth to it. You're always learning from somebody else. Even if you say, oh yeah, that's a good way, but I'm going to do it a little different, So there you go.
Yeah, wow. So how much soccer do you intake on a daily basis? I remember hearing it.
Debbie will tell you too much. Too much. I'll take it almost personal if somebody says, hey, did you see that score? And I didn't know, because I tape, I watch reruns. Even if I miss a game, I'll find the highlights. There's leagues, gosh, every European league, every top league. I got my favorite teams, and so I don't even know how much. Yeah.
Who's your favorite team in the English league?
In the English, I got about 5, 6. Yeah. I mean, I right now my number one, I guess you would call it is a close call between Tottenham and Liverpool. All right, I'm sure you're upset.
Yeah.
I don't like Man City, so there you go. But I watch them. I watch Man United. I'll be honest with you. I love the middle of the pack, up and coming. Brentwoods, and because I enjoy. They're more like my story. They're more like, hey, we have less than others. We have passionate crowds. But we're going to compete with what we got, and that's what I'm looking for.
All right. The most important thing we need to talk about is the carpet.
The what? The carpet?
So there's a carpet in there that is very special. We would kind of speak on that and the rules on that.
Yeah, I mean, for those that cannot see the locker room, so one thing I wanted to do when we're so blessed to have this building, and I wanted to do something to make all the former players, all the current players proud of, right? And even when we were in the tiny little place that is still part of this building here, right, the brick, I hope you agree. Were you in that generation when we used that?
Yeah.
I kept it tidy, I kept it, because I want them, when they walk in, they feel like, all right, yeah, my mind can get focused on practicing in the game because this is a professional setting. But this, very few coaches have that opportunity to get it from scratch, So even the locker rooms here, which I'm proud to say that we didn't buy it, we built it. And when I say we, I didn't do it. I know nothing about wood. I painted it. But we got somebody, Johnny, that works for Brevard, so it's a local guy, to design together, and we put it all together. But I wanted something in the center to be the first thing you see, and something that kind of zooms your attention and displays what we're trying to accomplish. And I thought about many things. I even thought about a little trophy case, but then I said, we better win some before we do it. So I came up with this carpet, and so it's a chunk of change that we spend on it. But by putting that thing there, first thing I told the players is no one will ever walk on it. Not even me. And if you ever see somebody walking on it, smack it. And my first, remember this, our first year here, there were some almost fights because the guys were waiting for a freshman to forget and just smack the heck out of there. And some guys got mad, but it's that sense of holy ground, which should be true on our field as well. It's our home. Let's take pride, don't leave trash. So yeah, this symbolizes that holiness of the program.
Okay, so now what's next for Coach L?
Well, I wouldn't say for me, but for the team, right? I'm hoping this year we're going to win the conference. I'm hoping that we can do more than just visit postseason. Even in conference. Let's say in conference, just don't make it to conference tournament. Go deep, and to do so, it's a daily thing, man. You don't accept little things that happen in practice or even in easy games, say if there's one. It's always business. It's always my best. It's always, unselfish, always. So what's next? I wanna get another ring, and this time with that ring, go deep in nations, NCAA nations. Yeah.
So you spoke about how kind of fate brought you here. So what holds Brevard, North Carolina, and Brevard College away from everything else that you've been in?
So it's been only in the U.S. 3 places, right? This is the third. So the first one was in Kentucky, as I mentioned. The second one was in Tennessee. The common grounds of those two, because they're not far from here, is the mountains. I absolutely love the mountains, and my city back home in Brazil is hilly, but it's not mountainous. When I first landed here, I fell in love with that. So first and foremost that, I even had a player from Texas one time said, I feel claustrophobic here. And I visited Texas, I'm like, I feel, what's the opposite of that? I don't even know what the word is, So I couldn't be in the open, I love having that around me. So that's one thing. The second thing, this is the first time I have what I consider the 3 most important things a college soccer player needs. A great school, I don't need to say anything. I mean, we were number 1 in the South for a few weeks. I just checked, we're 4th. That ain't bad, The soccer facilities, and let's agree that there's Division I schools that don't have what we have.
Yeah.
And then the third one is the college settings for the college town, or the town settings as a college town. You don't need to be in a metropolis. I'm from a metropolis. Trust me, you don't want to. You're from one.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there. Trouble is there, but you don't want to be where you were in my previous 2, which is nowhere. So we got a nice balance. I hope the players take time to explore here because there's tons, But yeah, and that's why I came and honestly, I'm selfish enough to admit that I even looked at little things like proximity to the airport, because we have so many international players that my previous 2 school I had to drive 2-3 hours,
Yeah.
Whereas here. I watch online, hey, it landed, I leave. By the time I get there, they're getting their luggage. I mean, how can you beat that,
Well, it's been great getting to know you. It was a pleasure. Hope everyone enjoyed that. Thank you for joining us for the first ever episode of Tornado Spotlight, and hope you join us soon. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for doing this. You're a natural.